So I guess I just want to thank everyone for attending here today. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas break. We're all back and we're here for school, and school's picking up as fast as ever. So I know it's a sacrifice to spend studying time in something like this. Today we're going over social engineering. It's a huge topic. It's, in my opinion, I don't think social engineering is ever going away. It's one of those things that's just going to stick around as long as people have some kind of access to a company or to their own computers. Social engineering will be a thing. I think with our current trust models, the way that employees are trusted in companies and stuff like that, social engineering will stick around for a while. With the zero trust model, which is a new trust model coming, it's going to get a little trickier for social engineering, but I still think that those scam artists will find a way. So today, I'll be kind of going over some things for the first couple minutes, and then Keith, our treasurer, is going to give us a good 20-25 minutes of a presentation. I'm really excited for what he prepared. So what is social engineering? Basically, there's different kinds of social engineering. There's information security social engineering, which is what we're going to talk about today, but apparently there's more in different business avenues and stuff like that. But in our case, it's the psychological manipulation of people into performing actions or divulging information. I like to think of it as like cons. So like the classic con artist who swindles people into giving them money and that kind of stuff. It's really similar to that, but in a digital fashion. They're just trying to get someone to do something that they wouldn't normally do, and that usually isn't in their own best interest. And even if like in some cases people get compromised by a scam artist, to where like, I don't know, a malicious actor will pay an employee to plant malware on a computer, and they'll pay that employee with Bitcoin. But then like down the road, it's just still not going to work out for them. So I would say ultimately it's never in the victim's best interest, even if they're getting paid. So in the attack cycle, social engineering can pop up in multiple places. It's kind of one of those tactics that comes back. It can be social engineering's involved with recon, collecting information about companies. So impersonating like IT guys, impersonating, utility workers coming into a company, like physically appearing and wearing some kind of an outfit and pretending to have credentials and stuff like that. So they'll gain information about the company, they'll find emails, all that kind of stuff. And then social engineering is involved in the initial compromise. It's also involved later on when they're within the system and trying to move laterally. It can be involved with the recon there and with maintaining presence. It's really involved in a lot of that stuff. So usually social engineering in an information security setting occurs through not just these things, but these are the three main ones I would say. So scam calls, spoofed emails, and spoofed texts. And this is just another nice infographic for you to look at some point. So this is where Keith's portion of the presentation begins. So I will just let Keith take over from here.
Sure. Do you want me to stream the presentation, or do you want to just click through it?
Yeah, you can stream it. So I'll just I'll stop sharing here.
Okay. Sorry, just give me a moment. I usually use the push to talk button, but the button is also the back button on my browser, so I need to turn that off. Okay. So basically, I just want to give a brief overview to everybody about scam emails or phishing emails. And so if you think back to the year 1997 or so, the first kind of email scams started to come out. They revolved around a Nigerian prince who promised to give you millions of dollars if you could only just send him $5,000 to unlock his funds hidden in some transfer or something like that. Turns out recently they found the cash in a apartment building, and I guess no one ever fell for that scam. Another type of scam email you might have seen is something where you get an email supposedly from Amazon that says, "Oh, hey, an order was made on your account for $999," and it will say your account, not your name. So I pulled a couple examples of phishing emails. Now these are older, 2014, as you can see in the picture. I got this from a blog website called Krebs on Security. But so we were kind of joking about this in the general chat, but this is something that is very, very telling. So as you can see, it looks like a email from the Home Depot. They've got their slogan there: more saving, more doing. And the email is reading, "We are happy to inform you that our online store, HomeDepot.com, has an order whose recipient's details match yours. The order could be received at any local store of HomeDepot.com within the period of 5 days. Open this link to see full information about your order." So the email has a link, and it seems to be right. However, there is one small thing that I noticed right away, is that they want you to sing up for the Home Depot. This is something that you wouldn't necessarily see. If you have an account with Home Depot, they're more likely going to tailor their emails not to you, but to your name that you signed up to the account. So this is just an example of small details that you can see in a scam email that would clue you in. And so far, right, it seems like common sense. Here's another one from Target. I pulled this again from Krebs on Security from an article that he posted in 2014 about spam emails. Again, it's addressed to you, so not very specific, and a link. So if you had hovered over the link, it would display this as your destination down here at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor or not, because Discord sometimes hides the cursor during streaming. But at the bottom of the picture here, there's a picture of the link, which would appear as you hovered over. So that's another. I mean, in this one, it looks pretty legitimate. You know, there's not a lot of spelling errors. There's a couple, like, formatting errors a little bit, but yeah, always yours, Target.com. You know, they're a long lost relationship, misconnection. But yeah, so it's very telling that this Trang, Try, Know It, That, ADG.com is probably not an order tracker for Target. So that's a way that you could tell. And I mean, so far, like, these things seem like common sense, right? But the thing is, as soon as you think that you know I would recognize a scam email, I'd recognize something fake, is when you let your guard down and you're able to be taken advantage of by these things. Now, this isn't an email, but this is just an example of a fake login portal. So what happens here is, I think you've all seen these websites where you go to a news website and it asks you to link your Facebook account, right, to log in and get more information tailored to you from that website. What this is showing is a fake page where the Facebook.com pop-up is actually hard-coded in the HTML of the page. So you get the pop-up, you'll type in your email or password, and you'll click log in. That information is sent to their server on the website, and not to Facebook. It does not actually.
I'm not familiar with Max. What's the tell here? Like, that looks pretty legit to me.
So this is from a website called Mikey, and the tell here for something like this is that you can't drag this window off of the page. So it is hard coded into the page as a pop up for this page. It is not an actual window.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So
it's very convincing from this video.
Yeah, it is, right? Like, there are so many things where you think, oh, I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm never gonna fall for something like this. But as you just pointed out, like, this looks like really legitimate. This looks like the Facebook login portal. It's got HTTPS facebook.com, but this is actually just hard coded into the HTML of the website. And so, Mikey is a security kind of reporting website, and they put together this video, and I just grabbed it quickly for the presentation here. But I thought it was a good example of, hey, you think that you're going to recognize all of these, but some of them are pretty convincing. Let me go to the next one. So there's several different types of phishing, and so the Target and the Home Depot emails are generally considered just phishing. So it's not targeted. They're sent out to massive amounts of email lists. Where they get these emails, I'll talk about a little bit later. But you've most likely seen those type of emails in your junk, or even in your main inbox. They might not have gotten filtered. You've most likely opened them up and had a little laugh at how bad they are. And then there's another tier of phishing called spear phishing, where a bad actor is going to target a particular business, target a particular person, or target a particular public office. There's also whale phishing. These are real terms where who is targeted is someone who is of high importance. So think like CEOs, CTOs, people who have a lot of access within companies or government. A big, really good example is that McEwen itself was victim of a spear phishing attack in 2017. At the time, there was a lot of construction going on, and the main contractor was Clark Builders. Over a period of, I think it was 2 weeks, nearly $12 million in payments were sent to a wrong bank account. So what happened was the payments where McEwen was sending their payments, like the bank account info for Clark Builders, they were sent an email saying, hey, our bank information has changed. Please update your records. This is where the payments are going to. It looked like a completely legitimate email, and because of, several factors, McEwen's process said, okay, we'll send the money to those new accounts. It was an email that was very convincing to be coming from the invoicing department at Clark Builders, and so not a lot of second looking was sent at it. So that was $12 million out of McEwen's bank account. It took 1 year for them to find that money and return it, but it also cost them a whole lot of money to get back what they lost, and they didn't get back completely what they lost. So, not to mention the cost of, okay, hey, we need $12 million to pay Clark Builders right now, and we also need to pay money to freeze these accounts and track down what just happened. So really, the targets of phishing email are everybody. When it comes to targeted campaigns, a lot of the times elderly or disabled people are targeted. This kind of information is sadly available to people online to target these particular emails, as well as phone numbers. I'm not going to talk too much about phone call scams, but I'm sure you've all received a phone call where the CRA is telling you that you've got a warrant out for your arrest. You need to call right now and pay them with Google gift cards. Another way that phishing targets are chosen are just simply dictionary attacks on your domain. So they will fire out emails to info at, payments at, accounting at, whatever your domain is, just trying to get their claws. So how are these emails actually accessed? You'll read online, oh, they got this from a dark web hacking list who was selling your emails. However, the truth is actually a lot more depressing. It's more likely that they got your email from a advertising list. Your email, depending on what you signed up, you have attached to your email, is fairly widely available to advertisers, because when you sign up for accounts and you agree to the terms of service, hey, we're going to share your information with third-party advertisers, you're basically agreeing to be put on email lists, as well as your phone number, say when you sign up for an app, or, it's not a lot of people read the terms of service. They just want to use the app, so whatever, just click yes, right? So some more examples of things is not just tricking people into changing their banking information or tricking people into sending them money, but also to gain access to their network. Malicious actors will often try to look for any vector that they can to gain access, especially if you're looking from the network penetration side. Phishing is often a good way to get in because, well, humans are the weakest link in our security, unfortunately. Some examples of malicious files, and I'm not going to go too much into detail with these, but would be Microsoft or Excel documents. The difference between Microsoft Word and Notepad when it comes to text editing is that Word allows you to actually program within it macros. And so that gives you quite a wide capability when it comes to what you can accomplish with Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel when it comes to executing on your hardware. There's also vulnerabilities in this software that can be exploited. Same thing with PDFs. Pictures are another thing where there can be embedded files, and these things are small, right? Another thing is links. Obviously, we talked about links a little bit, where you click a link, it looks like a login portal, or you click a link, and well, they know that you clicked that link because they've recorded your information, so they can pursue you further with phishing. They know that it works. Like I said, it's just the first step. Phishing is often just the first step to open the door, so to speak, get a foothold in your system or your company's system. And a lot of the time we think, common sense is good enough to protect us, and it might be for your personal email, but when it comes to working for a company where you're responsible for, say, 150 people accessing machines on your network, well, you've just become a target. So I just threw out some things that I literally grabbed off of the cybersecurity website for the government of Canada. You want to verify your links before you click them. Now, this gets even more complicated because there are ways to hide or make it even look like google.com when it's not google.com. I actually have a website here I wanted to bring up. Let me just pull it up. It's called a homograph attack. I don't know if anyone has heard of that. I'm just going to change Windows to this. So as we know, there are many different languages, many different alphabets, and some of these alphabets share the same character. So you can create a O that is a Cyrillic O, Cyrillic OO, GLE.com. I'm not sure if this one has actually been used, but this is just an example of where you're seeing google.com, but it is actually English G or Latin G, Cyrillic O, Latin G, LE.com. So even if you are looking at where your link is going, it might not actually be where you think it's going. This is called a homograph attack. Let me switch back to the slide. I always get confused with Discord. There we go. Change. Yeah. Another good practice is don't send banking information over email or text. If your bank is sending you an email saying, "Hey, we need you to send this payment. Click this link to settle your overdue fees," good practice would be to actually call your bank and ask them directly. A good thing to go by is if you didn't ask for an email or you're not expecting an email, it's probably spam or phishing. Make sure that you're applying software updates and patches. Again, like I mentioned with Microsoft Word and Excel, there are those are complex programs that allow for writing macros, and so it's possible that there's an exploit or two to be had there. There's also ways that you can filter spam emails. You can filter very specifically. And then also a good way to mitigate is education. So sessions like these where you point out, it's not all common sense. Like some of these things look very, very convincing. And yeah, thanks for coming to my talk. I have a video here. This is a popular Twitch streamer, and he was actually given a phishing email, and he clicked on it. So I don't know if I can hit play here, and if you guys would be able to hear it or not. Let me know if you can hear the sound.
Yeah, I can hear.
Not me sending that, and so I changed my password and and it stopped, and I was like, okay, maybe I clicked like a how to get skinny in 5 days link, years ago, right? I was like, whatever, maybe that was just like a crazy thing. Saturday comes around, my Twitter, all of a sudden people are like, hey, someone's on your Epic account. I'm like, well, that's certainly not me. So I go down, I'm at my house, so I go downstairs, and as I'm sitting downstairs, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to, just change my password, and then my computer started typing to me, and I was like, wow, this is a lot more serious than I thought. And so it was literally like something, I felt like I was in like the Matrix. Like my computer started typing to me. I was like, oh my god. I was like, no. So like I start typing back to whoever the person is, and I said, are you in my computer? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, no. It's mind-blowing. So I'm like, at this point, I'm just kind of dumbfounded. I'm like, wow, you're in my computer. I'm like, man, 2018, dude, that is insane. And so, like, at this point, I'm just impressed. Like, I'm not even, I'm not, like, some people would probably just be like, oh, I'm mad, get out of my computer. I'm like, bro, you're in my computer, that's insane. So I just started talking, I talked to this guy. I'm assuming he's a guy. I actually said to him, I don't want to assume your gender, but I'm pretty sure he was a guy. So I'm talking to him for, I feel like we typed back and forth in my notepad for like, probably an hour and a half maybe. We're just kind of going back and forth. I'm asking him questions. Because like, at this point, I'm just like, how are you in my computer, right? It's literally like, it's not anger I'm feeling, it's just like, I guess respect. I'm like, dude, obviously you know what you're doing. I'm an idiot. You're inside my computer, so hey, man. Hey. And so apparently what happened was, here's what he told me. He said it wasn't really my fault, which made me feel a little bit better. But basically he told me, about a month ago, I think he said, I clicked the link, and it looked like a normal link in my Streamlabs, right? In my program, it looked normal. Here's what he told me. It looked normal. I clicked it. Looked like a normal website. It wasn't a normal website, apparently. You know, and hey, you just wasted some money. And so apparently I clicked it, and he's just been on my computer for like a month. Just not doing anything, really. Just kind of, I guess, just like, thank God I wasn't running some sort of like underground scheme with like my notes or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like on my computer. Thank God I'm just a good boy, and I'm not doing anything insane, right? So he could have had dirt on me if I was a bad guy. But like, he just basically was like, yeah, I was just on your computer. I was like, oh. So I'm thinking back, I'm like, what websites did I visit while this guy? And then I'm starting to think, did he see me? Like, because I sit naked off stream, and I don't move that camera. So, I mean, I don't know if he can see my. I mean, standing up and sitting down, he can probably see me. Anywho, so I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm like, I'm taking it all in at this point. I'm like, okay, so obviously you know what you're doing. And so I just started talking to him, like, man, what could I have done differently? And he was like, it wasn't really your fault. So here's what he told me. The link he sent me was a bad link, obviously, but it looked like a legit link in Streamlabs. He said there's a character that he used, right? And if I would have copied the link from my Streamlabs and pasted it into my browser, so at this point he's helping me. It's like, good guy hacker. At this point he's like helping me, and I'm trying to learn from this whole thing. And I'm like, okay. He was like, if you would have taken it and you would have pasted it, you would have seen that one of the letters was not real. It was like it was a fake. You has like an asterisk or something like that, right? And you'd be like, I'm not going to click that. But on Streamlabs, guess what, chat? It shows up as normal. Thanks, Streamlabs. Really appreciate that one, guys. So basically, because Streamlabs doesn't show me that it's a fake letter, I click it thinking it's normal, because I had a strict rule, man. I thought I was safe. I was like, listen, dude, I'm only going to click like YouTube, Steam Community, and like Imgur, right? And I thought I was going to be okay. Little did I know, boy howdy, I was wrong. So apparently there's a way around it. And so I asked him, I was like, is there any like service I can use that isn't like, is Stream Elements any different? I was like, is Stream Elements, are they safe, right? Or is it the same kind of thing? And you're just like a god, right? And he was like, nope, Stream Elements has the same issue too. And I was like, wow. So I told him, I was like, what should I do, right? So what should I do to better protect myself? That's what I'm trying to learn from here, right? I'm just trying to take from it and learn. And he said, basically, don't click links. That'd be the safest option, obviously. Or if I really wanted to, he said, I could copy and paste every single link you guys sent me. I could copy it, put it in the web browser, look at the characters, and if I see a character that's bad, I know it's bad. And I was like, so I think we're going to go with the no links option here. But literally, like, I talked to this dude. I talked to this guy for an hour and a half. I don't know if he's a fan of the stream. I couldn't really tell. He seemed like he liked me. Like he wasn't doing it like maliciously. Like, oh, I freaking hate Tim, dude.
Sucked him. Been a fan for a while now.
Right.
Finally able to sub again.
Thanks much.
Lobster fishing was a little weak this year.
Appreciate
Have
it,
a
Bear.
fantastic stream, man.
Much love, bro. Much love, dude. Thank you. He basically, like, he seemed like he liked the stream. He wasn't, like, mad at me for any reason. Because, I mean, to be blunt, Chad, this dude could have royally effed me. Like, completely, but he didn't, you know, so good guy, hacker, feels good man, clap in the chat. And so we talked for a while, just kind of back and forth a little bit. And he showed me where his thing was. He showed me where it was on the computer, and he removed it for me. And it was a really bizarre experience. But, like, you know, I'm looking at my computer, he's just moving everything around, and I would have never seen it. I would have never found this thing. It was like, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I was like, dude, this is insane. All from a link, man, you know? And so he deleted it for me. And so here's the thing. Here's the part where I really realized that he was kind of a good guy hacker. Because some of you are probably like, Timmy probably just said he removed it, but he didn't, right? So he told me, we were going to delete this, restart your computer. I shouldn't be able to have access to your computer after, right? He deletes it. I restart my computer. I turn my computer back on. I'm sitting here for a minute, right? And then he messages me again. He's like, wait, I'm still here. He was like, F me if I can't get rid of my own hack, he said, basically. And so it was, I mean, if he was really still trying to be in my computer, you know, I think he wouldn't have told me, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I think he would have not told me, oh, wait, I'm still here. So, like, I was sick, because I would have had no idea. I was just sitting here, you know, just staring at my computer, seeing if he just, you know, basically, I thought about opening my notepad and be like, hey, are you here? But he just messaged me. He's like, oh, wait, I'm still here. And then he figured it out again, and then I restarted it, and I haven't heard from him since, so I'm assuming he's not in there anymore. I'll probably still reformat it eventually. I didn't have time. Like, dude, this weekend for me was, like, super busy. Like, I had a bunch of birthday parties and I had to go to, and so, yeah. So, I gotta reset. So, I gotta, like, reformat or something. I mean, he told me. He flat out told me. He was like, you can reformat if you want. He was like, but I'm deleting it here, so. I was like, okay. It was such a weird experience, man. It was so bizarre.
So, anyways, you get the idea. He was victim to basically a homograph attack where Streamlabs, which is a software that you use to put your stream up on Twitch, he got some sort of link, and the link must have downloaded a file to his computer or something, and it gave someone access. So, a lot of the time, common sense just isn't really good enough. You need to just be very vigilant as to what you're clicking online when you're clicking it, and that's basically all I really wanted to get across with with this phishing presentation, was that common sense just quite simply isn't good enough to fight it. Thanks, Taylor. I'll pass it back to you, man.
Awesome, thanks, man. That was really good. I'm gonna start sharing mine again. Cool. So I thought that captured the essence of email scams really well. I think that covered a lot of really good bases there. Yeah. So. Everyone thank Keith. Give him some clap emojis in the chat for his excellent presentation there. And I'll continue to talk more about email scams and social engineering techniques. And then I'll also show you guys the social engineering toolkit, which is a penetration testing kit developed by Trusted Sec or something like that. Yeah, Trusted Sec. Just kind of funny. Trusted Security making a social engineering toolkit. But yeah, so one thing I wanted to show you guys, and I can't really figure out a way to do this without showing my email inbox. So when you
Trust us?
like, I trust you guys, but this video is going to go public on YouTube, and so I don't trust them. I guess I could like blur out the video and stuff, but I just won't do it. So in your inbox, your email inbox, you can select an email and click view and then view message source. So once you view the message source, it's going to dump it, and it's going to look something like this. It'll be really obscure looking data. But in here is where you get all the raw information from like which server the email originally came from, which servers it was passed between on the way to your inbox on whatever domain is providing your email. So if it's Google, to Google's domain and that kind of thing. This is obviously really not friendly to people who aren't like, I don't know, technically versed, like a computer science student or a programmer or something like that. But if you are a programmer in this case, or just tech savvy, then you can view source and figure out which domains the original email came from. And one thing that I found that was really interesting is a lot of these scam emails have return email addresses, and they're usually consistent across, like, because they'll always change the from email. So in this case, the from email is this one here, and it's some nasty looking thing that is definitely not from Kohl's, which is the company that this email allegedly came from. So this is usually, like, that's a telltale sign anytime you get an email that seems malicious, is checking the actual email address that it came from. And you don't need to print the source to view that. But in this case, it comes from here. But these always change. Every single scam email I've gotten has a different email in it. So creating an inbox rule to ban just that email is not enough. And I found, though, that if you sort it by return path, these emails are much more consistent across scam emails. So this domain, for example, has been sending multiple scam emails to my email address. And if I just ban emails from this email, those spams stop coming. So that's one mitigation technique. Another mitigation technique that works pretty well and is actually a better rule of thumb is to not allow external images to be downloaded in your email. I don't know if that's making any sense, but when you open up an email, there's your inbox rule should already be set up to stop the email from displaying any images. Now you might think that that's arbitrary and just kind of like, well, what's the issue with an image? Well, the real issue with an image appearing inside your email is you get that email, and if you click view image, it's downloading an external image from the internet that's coming from that domain. So that external image will show up in your email, but what you really just did is you sent a read receipt. So like, I don't know, when you send a text to your friend and they haven't read your text yet, but then they click it and they read it, now you see that they've read the text. That's pretty much what's happening when you click view image on those emails. So if your inbox is already set up to not download those images, don't click view image on a scam email. Otherwise, these guys will know that you're reading their emails, and they'll keep sending you even more spam. So that's the real catch. So to sum that up, you get a scam email, the images aren't displaying, don't click display image because you'll just get even more spam. In fact, don't even open up the email to read it unless you want more spam, basically. It's easiest to, if you really want to like get rid of those, to view the source of the email and look for common email addresses across the scam emails and then ban those from your inbox. But ultimately, if you don't keep clicking them, you won't keep getting spammed with that. Just keep making inbox rules and they'll stop appearing. But there's also, with this image thing that I was telling you about, there's potential for drive-by downloads in this process. Like they could have a web server that's hosting between the actual download that will download something in addition to the image that's going to be displayed. So there's a lot of risk in clicking view image. So I would just warn you guys about that, basically. Okay. So yeah, this is the Trusted Sec social engineering toolkit website. It's just GitHub, a GitHub page. Once you download it and all that stuff, it'll look something like this. So I've got my Kali machine here. If the screen loads, I'm just going to restart my Kali machine. So just bear with me for a moment while I restart my Kali machine. I noticed that Andrew mentioned that Google proxies images by default, which is a good service. Yeah, my Kali box is definitely getting bulky. I download a lot of stuff on it. Okay. So once you have it downloaded, it's gonna show up like that. So you have to run it with administrator privileges, so sudo. Okay, so I haven't gone in depth on exploring how this program works, but it has a lot of utilities that assist you in social engineering attacks, basically. It's important to note, again, we're an ethical hacking club, and this kind of a tool is extremely powerful. It also has its drawbacks, one of which being most of these scripted tools will have already been detected by antivirus, by common services, all that kind of stuff. Like I tried using this thing with one of my Gmail accounts and it didn't even work because the Gmail services already recognize stuff coming through this type of a tool because it's been used so much. So ultimately, like if you're doing a pen test or you're doing an audit of a company as part of your cybersecurity job, you're going to want to use, if you're going to use this, you'll probably have to modify it a bit in order for the attacks to be successful. So as you can see here, we have some options. Select from the menu. You've got your social engineering attacks, penetration testing, and then a few configuration things and third-party modules. Social engineering attacks is what we're going to look at. So in this case, we can do spear phishing. We can do website attack vectors, infectious media generators. Again, with payloads and with media generators, those are going to probably get picked up right away because this is a publicly accessible tool. It's used by so many different people. So I would click spear phishing, but I'm actually going to click 5 mass mailer attack because that's kind of what we were talking about today. So I know it said mass mailer, but you can do a single email address or you can do the mass mailer. But in this case, we're going to click the single because that's kind of spear phishing. And you can use predefined templates or you can make your own template. In this case, predefined. So it's funny because I'm sure you might have seen one or two of these before. It doesn't have like the huge list of scam emails that are out there. But yeah, like if you click one, you can now decide which email it's going to go to. And then you can, this is what I was talking about with the use your own Gmail account. I did try this, but Google automatically recognized that some third-party risky service was trying to use my email. Or you can set up your own server or open relay. So this is interesting. This is a little bit more involved, but you can set up your own email domain server on your computer and use that, which is exactly what those scammers are doing, right? That's why they can come up with so many custom emails, just because they have an email service set up on whatever remote service they're using, and they're creating these emails like they're super expendable and just like it's unlimited basically. So in this case though, we can't really proceed from here, so I'm just gonna close out the service. But yeah, I'll hit the spear phishing one just to show you guys what that looks like as well. So you can perform the mass email attack. You can do different format payloads, and then another social engineering template. Let's just hit that one. Yeah, so this is where you create your own template and that kind of stuff. So honestly, when I was getting into like how this program is super in depth and I didn't really get a chance to like go through all of it, I mean, it's like it's involved. I would compare it to the Metasploit framework in the fact that this thing has a lot of options, but the Metasploit framework is unbelievably huge and has all kinds of payload generators and reverse shells. So yeah, feel free to check that out at some point. It's cool to look at. I'm sure if you've got your own virtual lab set up at home, you can look at those different things and play with the program. I'm just going to double check that we covered everything here today. Okay, so that was basically it for social engineering today. We mostly covered phishing and email scams. And one thing I wanted to emphasize before we finish up today, before we wrap up this meeting, is the server has challenges. Like, we've made challenges for previous workshops. They're fun. Most of them are pretty easy. There's some challenging ones in there. There's also a club leaderboard, and it displays where everyone in the server is doing, who has competed in those challenges, and who's the best so far. So please try out those challenges. And that's it for today's meeting. Unfortunately, we don't have any social engineering workshop items or challenges, but there it is.
We're talking on the general board here. Want to look, Taylor?
Hang on a second. I'm going to stop the recording.